Hi, hello everybody. Welcome to Lucky Seven Mudmos, Depression and Anxiety live feed. It's basically where you could either come up on a panel. Sorry about that. Come up in a panel, talk about your depression. You also could be able to put in a chat. You could be anonymous. Nobody has to have the exact names, your proper names. Sorry, tongue twist this afternoon. I'd like to say thank you very much for my existing members, Kentucky Girl, Bucky Life Journey, Polar Bear Ed's Garage, Michael Telling, which is my mother and father, aka Colin Friends, Valley 49, Mower Outlaw, Grandpa's Adventures. I'd like to say very much thank you, and you could become a member by hitting that join membership. Redneck Wookie, how you doing? Valley 49, how you doing? So basically, as always, what I do is start off with the video with a couple of little clips that I happen to find on the internet about depression and anxiety. I also, in the description below, I have some more information. One of the videos that I do have, it's a depression test. You could be able to do that to find out where you stand, category between 1 and 10. There'll be an intro on that video. In the description below, you'll be able to find the link for that test, so you could take that as well. We're going to just share a couple things here, and we're going to start off, and then once after I get these couple of videos done, I'll open a link. People can come up. You could either just talk like a basic chat, or if you want to talk about something that happened to you in the past or the future, if you're having problems at home and you need somebody to talk to. I am not a licensed doctor. I'm just here for support. And if you read out the bottom of the screen, it says the Lifeline is free, confidential, always available 24 hours a day. Chat 988 if you'd like to talk to somebody besides your friends, family, or myself. Call there. You don't know who you're going to be talking to, so you might be able to get a little more off your chest. So let me get a few things here to start. I believe it's this one. Yep. So we're going to share this video first. I'm going to make sure it goes up there right. Yep, looks like it's okay. So we're going to come to let's play the first video.
It may be helpful for you to actually go see a licensed professional because there are some warning signs. Now, before we jump right into the test, I want to encourage you to hit that subscribe button somewhere down below for you to never miss a video here on Undefined Truth, where we make all things mental health. So let me just give you a brief definition of what depression is. It's a sense of hopelessness, helplessness, of not feeling worthy that lasts for days and even weeks. So this test actually comes from mentalhealthamerica.net. What I liked about this test is that it gives you a scoring. So if you want to track your symptoms or how you're feeling, you're able to go back to the same test a week, 2 weeks, a month, and kind of just see what you scored then versus what you scored now. For those who are visual and auditory learners, I'm going to swing on over to the website so you can actually read along and see the questions as I say them out loud. Question.
Once again, the link for this test is in the description below.
Number 1, little interest or pleasure in doing things. Number 2, feeling down, depressed, or hopeless. Number 3, trouble falling or staying asleep or sleeping too much. Number 4, feeling tired or having little energy. Number 5, poor appetite or overeating. Number 6, feeling bad about yourself or that you are a failure or have let yourself or your family down. Number 7, trouble concentrating on things such as reading the newspaper or watching television. Number 8, moving or speaking so slowly that other people could have noticed. Number 9, thoughts that you would be better off dead or hurting yourself. And question number 10, if you checked off any of these problems, how difficult have these problems made it for you at work, home, or with other people? Now, after you've answered these 10 questions, it will show you a brief questionnaire that you can just breeze past and hit submit, or you can actually answer them, but it does not affect your scores. So if you answer not at all, that's 0 points. Several days, that's 1 point. More than half the days, that's 2 points. And nearly every day, that's 3 points. Now, based on your total score, it will put you in the range of depression. So 1 to 4, minimal depression; 5 to 9, mild depression; 10 to 14, moderate depression; 15 to 19, moderately severe depression; and 20 to 27, severe depression. Now, as I shared earlier, I really like this one because you can track it as many times as you want over the course of a year, 6 months. And then if you feel as though it is severe enough or impacting your life enough, you can go and seek help and take some of these questions that you've answered. And based on your answers, you can talk this over with a licensed professional. So I do want to say this, that even if you take this exam and you fall in the range of minimal depression, don't take that and just not go seek help. You are the expert of you. You know yourself better than anybody else. So if what you're struggling with is enough to impact you, where you want to seek help, where you want to talk to somebody, please go do that. You do not need anybody to validate what you're going through or how you're feeling at this time. This test is just to see if there are some warning signs for depression. But if you are wanting it, go get it. And go get it, go get help. So I hope you found it helpful to look over these 10 questions with me and just answer them and see how you can go about taking this test on your own. If you like this type.
All right, so that test is located in the descriptions. Feel free to use that if you'd like to find out a little more about yourself. Uh, I always say this during my videos, and I think it's one of my models I'm going to be able to use every time that I do a video. So you're probably going to hear this every video. Some people's going to say, "Oh, Lucky's saying this again." So I want everybody to close their eyes and picture a very long road. This very long road is your life, and it's straight. It goes straight. Now, on this very long road, it becomes an intersection. It's a stop sign at a four-way intersection. Now, if you continue straight on this road, it's a perfect life. Everybody wants a perfect life. If you go straight, now if you can't go straight because there's no such thing as a perfect life. So with your eyes closed now, you're thinking to yourself, all right, well, it's a four-way direction. Which way do I go? Well, you can't go straight because it's a perfect life. Nobody has it. So you have a right-hand turn or a left-hand turn. If you take a right-hand turn, that road has some bends, some curves, some bumps, and that's your life. Life is not perfect. You're going to fall on a small little bump, but you're going to get back up because the road is your life and that's what you have to go. Some people, sadly, decide to take that left-hand turn. That left-hand turn is a huge, huge pothole. This pothole is so huge, once you hit the bottom, it's death. So you have two ways that you could be able to go in your life when you get to that stop sign. So I want everybody to stop and think. When you're at that stop sign, you can't go straight because nobody's life is ever going to be perfect. I want everybody to stop and just think, okay, right hand turn. You get up in the morning, your life is not going to be perfect. You already know that for a fact. Your depression is probably going to be kicking in. Anxiety is going to be kicking in. But yet, stop and think. My life is not perfect, but yet I'm going to have my ups and downs, and I'm going to get through this day. It's going to be bumpy, but yet I'm going to get up and I'm going to succeed something. Put yourself and make yourself as a goal, a positive attitude. Take that positive attitude and try to accomplish that for the day. And if you do that one goal every day, comes to the next week, say to yourself, all right, I'm going to make two positive goals for the day, accomplish two positive goals. That is a right hand turn. Never ever consider taking a left hand turn, because once you take that left hand turn, there's no way out of that hole. You could try to get help, but there's not enough help out there. There's not enough awareness out there for people with depression and anxiety to be able to recognize they actually have it. So that's my little speech for the night. I'd like to get more into my personal life with my depression and anxiety. Uh, some Fridays I feel like talking about it, some Fridays I don't. And this is the Friday I really don't want to get too much involved with it because I've had a really positive week this week. Uh, I took a lot of right hand turns and I'm feeling really good. And I don't want to end it with a negative feeling in my mind that brings back some of the negative feelings that I've had from my past. So I'm trying to stay positive. I have one more clip, and then we'll get into the chats. I know Fish Guy Ranch is there, Val 8049, Jeff Cole, let's see, Jane Miller, and we got Nightbot in there. So why don't we get one more video? Then we'll open up the panel, start screen. I think it's this one here. Okay, it's a little cartoon. I thought it was pretty cool just to see something different. Share this. Open this. Make sure it's sharing. It is. Now we're going to come back over here. And
Hey, Psych2Go fam, welcome back. Have you ever heard the term smiling depression, high functioning depression, or hidden depression? As these names may imply, this is when a clinically depressed person tries to keep the depression a secret from others. They often appear cheerful, successful, and seemingly put together, leading you to the belief that their lives are perfectly happy, fine, and without mental illness. Is there someone you think might be secretly depressed? Look out for these 8 telltale signs that they might have hidden depression. 1. They feel emotions on a much deeper level. Does your friend become emotionally volatile in response to a simple question or comment? Those who are secretly depressed will often feel things more intensely than usual because of how much they bottle up inside. They're more susceptible to crying, getting upset, or even having a full-fledged breakdown because they feel overwhelmed with the depths of all of their emotions. This swings both ways, being more affectionate and loving towards others while also more easily angered and saddened. 2. They're less positive and optimistic. Does your loved one, who used to be so easygoing and lighthearted, become cynical and pessimistic? They might be internally struggling with a lot of dark thoughts they're too afraid to share. They may adopt a more nihilistic point of view and become less positive and optimistic than you're used to them being. 3. They're obsessed with being the best. Depression, hidden or not, is often a thief that robs us of our ability to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. People with concealed depression will often throw themselves into their work in order to find meaning in their lives and make sense of their suffering. By overworking themselves, they get a sense of reprieve from their depression and distract themselves from all the negativity that they feel. 4. They have sudden mood swings. Depression isn't always going to look like sadness. Sometimes depression manifests as anger, irritability, and sudden changes in mood. Depression makes feeling happy and even enjoying things they used to love incredibly difficult. Their response is a tendency to lash out and become emotionally unhinged. There's just too much rage and desperation for them to suppress, so like a volcano, they let it erupt and throw tantrums. 5. They've started abusing drugs or alcohol. Occasional recreational drug use and drinking are fairly common. However, the red flag for hidden depression starts to wave when it stops being occasional and becomes regular, and then turns into dependence. The Anxiety and Depression Association of America, ADAA, found that approximately 1 in every 5 people who were depressed also had a substance use disorder. 6. They're always out of it lately. Is your usually punctual friend suddenly forgetting your lunch dates? Does your friend zone out more often than usual when you're talking to them? Difficulty concentrating and remembering is one of the symptoms of depression. The depressed person often has a hard time keeping their train of thought and struggles with finishing tasks, affecting their grades or work performance. They have difficulty with decisions and remembering recent events. They may even start to speak and move more sluggishly as a result. 7. They feel bad about asking for help. Does your friend tell you something's wrong, but then waves it away saying it's just silly or unimportant and they'll just deal with it on their own? When someone's trying to conceal their depression from others, they'll often send subtle cries for help that they immediately take back. They apologize for asking for help, even when they're struggling, and never want to burden anyone else with what they're going through. And 8. They always try to look or act happy. Do you know someone who's constantly smiling and cheerful, usually denying that something is wrong even when you know there is? They won't let others see them cry or be sad, so they make up excuses about why they can't see you much. Usually, when they think no one else is looking, the facade will be dropped and you'll see things aren't okay. Those with depression won't always show the symptoms commonly associated with the condition. Does this bring anyone to mind? Because of the negative stigma surrounding mental illness, many patients often feel the need to keep their struggle a secret for fear that they'll be judged, shamed, or mistreated for their illness. If you know someone who you suspect is secretly depressed, you can do them a solid and show your support by reaching out to them. This may help them move towards getting the professional mental health care they need in order to improve. Paying attention to these signs could make you a lifesaver. If you know someone who may benefit from online counseling, we actually partnered up with BetterHelp, an affordable online counseling platform that you could utilize. They're constantly striving to improve their services and terms of conditions. The link.
All right, so that's one of the other videos there. I thought it was only one more, but I actually have one. It's a description about the quizzes, the test. I'm going to do a rundown on that one. So I'm going to do present. I got to share this one here. I think it's this one. All right, here we go. Make sure it's sharing, which is sharing. Hopefully you guys can be able to see it. So it's a depression quiz. And it says, how often do you feel hopeless? And there's your options. Never, really, sometimes, often, always. And you just go and check mark each one. And you could go further and further, answer all your questions there. So when you do pop up that link in the description, it's very simple to be able to answer. Just a click. And then you just enter the very last, and then it'll automatically come up and give you up on your right hand side. There's more information you could be able to do, recent topics, and then it'll go from there. So we're going to X this one out. That is a little link you could be able to show on that one. And let's see. And this one here, I found some more information on this one too. We'll share the very last one, then we'll open up the panel on this. We'll see if we could get anybody up. Okay, here we go. This link here is also in the description as well. Causes, types of depression, all right, systems, treatments from our partners. Okay, so we're going to go over the types of depression. And you could be able to read on here what types there are. The systems, sorry, I'm not pronouncing it properly, but let's see, sleeping too much or too little, whole bunch of different things. All right, so there's that link. That link is also in the description as well. Let's get off of that. We got Nightbot in there, Jay Miller. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to open the link. We'll wait a couple minutes. We'll see if anybody comes up, wants to chat. Don't have to talk about depression. Don't have to talk about anxiety. Just basic chat and talk if you like. I like to stay on the topic as much as possible. And if we don't get nobody up on a link within 10 minutes by 6:30, I usually like to try to run this until around 8 o'clock. But once people start realizing I'm live every Friday with the depression and anxiety videos, people will start coming up and talking more. I used to be able to have a full panel here with a lot of people talking. And I know the way the economy is now, everybody has something to talk about or issues. But I do have to mention, well, something I seen on the news and it was all over the place. As you know, I'm a Republican. Nancy Pelosi's husband got beat up last night. Me, my honest opinion, I think Nancy Pelosi came back from the little tavern a little too early. Drunk, probably beat the hell out of her husband, then called the cops saying somebody intruded. Unless if she paid somebody. We don't know about that. But anyways, maybe I can find one more little video to last while the link's up there. And we'll see what we could do. Let me see if I can pull something up quick here. As I said, usually if I talk about a lot with my depression, it does last a lot longer. Here we go. Here's a link. It says free counseling. Let's see what this comes up. This is Green Book. Our mission is your, remission from your depression. It looks like somebody's trying to make money on this one, so we got to share this link. Anything that says free, it's not for free. Images, news, books, videos. Let's do a video. Let's see what's out there. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, we'll do this one here. Let me just get on here. All right, I just have to back up a little bit. I'm going to go here, StreamYard. Double check I'm doing this. Got that. Fast forward and push play.
Say the first time, really with depressive symptoms, I was deployed on a ship, and my roommate basically said, "You need to see someone."
This problem of depression and the anxiety that went with it, and the other issues that evolved from military life and in transitioning into civilian life, it showed up in very strange ways.
I just wished I could just stay in bed for the entire day and just block out the rest of the world. You can't do anything right. Nothing in your life is working right. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, just snap out of it." But it's not just snap out of it, because you don't see that light at the end of the tunnel.
I wasn't sleeping well, or I was sleeping too much. Sometimes so much was on my mind, I wouldn't be able to sleep, or I was just totally drained, and I would just want to sleep all day. Didn't really want to be around people. I tried to isolate myself and stay away from others, and just because I wasn't really comfortable speaking with them and talking about what was going on in my life.
And I just it felt empty. I would wake up. It's hard for me to want to go to work. I realized that I have some anger. I have some depression issues. I feel badly about myself. I'm having trouble getting myself out of the house. I'm having trouble doing things.
Most of the issues that I was feeling at that time were related to depression. I had to refocus my direction. Civilian life just didn't seem as structured as I would like it to be.
I didn't want to feel anything. I wasn't capable of feeling anything. I just wanted to be numb.
I got out in 93. I didn't seek help until 1997. And that was through a friend of mine who was going to the VA. And she said, you're not getting out of bed. You're not doing anything. You're not taking a shower. And you really need to get some help besides medication and besides just laying around.
All of a sudden, I wasn't surrounded by people who got it. My wife, my kids didn't understand why I was different, and I didn't understand them anymore. So I pulled away when I first got out. I thought it was everyone else's fault that they didn't get me. My wife said very plainly, and I completely get why she said it. I don't blame her for it. She said, "Look, either you get help or I get out."
I finally went to the VA in 2003. And it was because I had been working with veterans and saw the other veterans that were having problems were getting help. And it was working. VA was working. These veterans that would get into the system and get their health benefits and move on with their lives.
I went to the cognitive thinking therapy. I think it's called CBT. And that was very beneficial to me. It was a one-on-one where I sat down with the counselor and, told him about some of the situations that I was in.
Once I got there, it was like an immediate effect, talking about all these things that I never had the opportunity to discuss with anybody, or the whys of what happened to me and how I feel now.
When I released that self-defense and I allowed those walls to come down, I began to interact with my counselor, and it seemed like on a personal level, where you have somebody you can trust. They can give you advice, suggestions, and I can either take them or leave them. But it's coming from a third party, a neutral observer.
So I talked to some more doctors and tried a couple of things like antidepressants. At first they didn't work really well. I went back and we talked about it more and we kind of changed some things. And then it started to help a lot, surprisingly, because I kind of never really believed in. I always thought that it was all in your head kind of thing. Like, oh, you're not really depressed. You just need to smile more or something like that. But
Right there, I need to stop that. And that is a true fact. There are so many people out there that says the same thing what that guy just said. Oh, you're not depressed. You just need to do this more. You just need to do that. You need to be out and stay busy. Trust me, if you have not been depressed and you don't have anxiety, you don't have the right to be able to tell somebody something like that. I'd like to welcome Mr. Briggs. He's in the basement there. I'm just going to finish off this video. We got another 2 minutes left. It's nice to hear about other people's stories. That's the reason why I'm running this as well. I listen to some of these stories here, even if I'm not live. I'll sit here and watch depression anxiety videos for hours and hours, and I can relate so much to these fine people that actually have the courage to come up here on a panel and talk about it. So I'm hoping I could be able to encourage some people to come and talk about theirs as well on my channel.
I mean, it's a real thing.
It was a trauma counselor that really, really helped me. She did a cognitive behavior therapy with me. She began to show me ways that those, thinking more positively and even just changing words a little bit. It's not the rest of my life is going to be bad. It was just in the past. This part of my life didn't go exactly the way I wanted it to. but I have the whole future ahead.
Made it a lot easier because then once I could recognize what was making me feel that way, then I can like talk myself down off that ledge to where when I start having those feelings, I can reach back into reality and say, okay, no, this is what's really going on. So it's made life easier.
If it wasn't for the VA, I don't know if I'd be sitting here talking to you. Probably not. But I went and I got the treatment and the help I needed, and now my life's completely different. I'm able to face tomorrow.
Now that I understand why I was feeling the way I felt, I was able to deal with it better. So life is getting better, and just choosing one thing each day to improve on, and just one step at a time, getting better.
It's important that people do understand that you can be an average everyday citizen and have a problem that needs outreach, that needs correction, that needs therapy. You can move on with your life. You can improve your life. Life will get better.
Exactly. Life will get better, just like how they were talking about earlier. You have to have positive attitude, positive thoughts in your mind, just like I said earlier. Start with one positive goal for the day. You get up in the morning, you know, start off with something right. If you're so used to getting up in the morning and getting out of bed on your left side or the right side, vice versa. So if I get up out of bed, I'm always getting out of bed on the left side. I get off the bed on the left side. Well, sometimes maybe if you change that little routine in the morning, it might be a little bit better. It might feel a little bit different. So you're going to have a different aspect of what's going to go on throughout the day. So instead of getting up in the morning, first thing you do is put the coffee on. Take a shower, then put the coffee on. Or brush your teeth before you jump in the shower. Vice versa. Do change something. Uh, just think about what you could do to make something positive, to make that day a succeeding, fulfilled day. Mr. Briggs, what's up?
Driving home
That's good.
with a,
Go ahead.
just with a rental truck. I blew up my truck.
Uh oh. How do you do that?
The DD 15 head gasket decided it didn't want to be there anymore.
Oh, I got you. So, Jane, it is very hard to be able to open up. It took me a long time for me to be able to open up, and it was pretty much at my breaking point when I actually started talking about it. And I never did seek counseling after the breaking point. I thought I could be able to handle it, and unfortunately, I took that left-hand turn, and I got myself into a lot of problems, and I hurt myself a lot. And then, I went through some counseling and everything. Now it's pretty much I have the understanding that life is not going to be perfect. There's a lot of things that I'd like to see change, but I have no control over that. So instead of having going down that straight road where life is perfect, I always think of myself taking that right hand turn. There are going to be bumps. The flowers on each side of the road, they're not rosy red all the time. Some of them are dead. But it is what it is. It's life. And I just learned to deal with everything that comes my way every day uh, with either a positive thought or something that's said to me which I don't like, especially from my past, from other people, or see on, you know, anything. I just pretty much just shrug it off my shoulders and say, you know what? If they want to think that, it is free. I don't care. I just continue with my day, try to put a smile on, and stay with the positive attitude. Hello, Grandpa. Grandpa's saying hello, Scott.
Hello.
Yes. So what was you on a highway or something?
No, I was actually at the fuel island. I just finished putting $400 worth of fuel that went boom.
Yeah.
That was fun getting called a few choice words. You know, move the truck. I said, okay, you can't. Well, here, I'll hook on to you, drag you out. No, you're not going to drag me out. Let's go wait.
Right. So, Jane, yeah, life is not perfect, which you realize that. And counseling many years ago, but it never really helped. My counseling, I had this one lady, Brandy. One-on-one counseling, it didn't fucking work. Nothing. It was just, she sat there and just jotted some stuff down. And you know what? It hurt me in the long run than it did any better for me. It didn't. It was basically, she would sit there and I would sit there and I'll talk, and of course you get upset, and it just made me feel like I was like telling a stranger something and they were going to hurt me in a way. And they just shove you outside that door and you go standing for your medication, you get your medication. What really did help me is the group sessions. One day I seen this posting up on a board, group meetings for depression. So I asked her about it. She says, well, it's about a whole bunch of people getting together. It could be 5 people, it could be 10 people with the same exact issues that you have, or very close to depression. And you talk among that group and you listen to them. And of course, everybody gives their opinion. So I gave that a try. I was in that group for 4 years. I got more knowledge out of that group than I did with my normal counselor. I heard about other people's problems. I heard how they dealt with it, which taught me how to deal with some of my issues. And it was vice versa. They heard my story, and same thing. They learned how to handle it certain ways, how I explained. So the group sessions is the best way to go. We got, let's see, everybody's saying hi to Grandpa.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I think that causes people to get depressed is jealousy. Like jealousy over your siblings, jealousy over your neighbors having more things than you have, or and you want what they have, but you can't get what they have. It'll literally drive you insane trying to compete with it. My father used to do that. It's like my uncle Jay, for instance. He used to go out buy new cars every year, 2 or 3 years, and bought motorcycles, boats, campers, had all kinds of toys, and new stereo equipment. And he'd give my father the old speakers, like when he bought new speakers, spending $3,000-4,000. My father was jealous, and I said, well, "Wait a second, what?" I said, "Why you can't compete with him? I make as much money, but I don't have what he has." I said, "But you don't have shit. He don't." Here, I said, and it took me years to tell him, but you got 3 kids of your own, 3 stepchildren, more grandchildren than that you can count on one hand, on both your hands, and more great grandchildren you count on on your hands that are blood relatives. What's my Uncle Jay got? He's got a girlfriend / wife, so to speak, and toys. He never had kids. So, and I said that to him right in front of my uncle one day, and my uncle laid into him. He says, "You're right." And he's right, Bob. He told my father, "I don't have that." Well, you could have had kids. My uncle says, "I don't have the patience for kids. I can only tolerate them for so long."
Right.
And then they do. My uncle has 0 patience. I mean, I get along better now with my uncle now than when I was a kid. I remember one time my father, when he had his first heart attack, I was like 12 years old, and I had to go save my uncle for a month until he came out of the hospital. My uncle was ready to pull his own hair out. he said the way these kids get into things, they climb trees. They went. I mean, hell, me and my brother went in the backyard and started up the lawnmower at 2 o'clock in the morning and tried to mow his front lawn at 2 o'clock in the morning when I was 10 years old. It's like, what the hell are you doing? You know, it's like, he said, I don't have the patience. He said, I couldn't do that.
Right. Jane, if you see that number on the bottom, 988, that number right there will be able to answer all your questions if there is a group that's located near your location there. And they'll give you the information. And Jeff, he was able to help you out a little bit there. Yeah, jealousy does have some issues with people, but I think that's more of a drama. I'm not exactly sure if that would cause a depression on something like that.
Well, it can, because then you could drive. I mean, you could literally drive yourself nuts trying to have what someone else don't have, and you know, it can eat you up, just like
well, that's
just
what
like
they call trying to keep up with the Jones, but you don't have the rich pockets for that.
I mean, my father had the same pockets, but he couldn't understand why he couldn't have what my uncle had. But he didn't. I mean, you know, him having kids was a big thing. I mean, you know, hell, I remember going out when he'd take us out to dinner. Like, there was one restaurant we went to a lot, Red Barn. Hell, he'd go out there and it would be $60. Just by the time you added 2 adults and 6 kids, I mean, back in the '70s, that was a lot of money. You
know? Depression is caused by many things.
Oh, you know, yeah. Oh, yeah. Getting a bill you can't afford to pay. You know?
Yep. I could get a little intro detail on jealousy, but it's not so much that runs a depression. You know, just like that lady said on there, on one of the videos there, she says that if you're depressed and you want to make your life better, you can't say you're depressed over the same issues all the time. You have to have accomplished the goals to be able to make that better. Try to explain this the best I can, but if you're not happy with your life because the way how everything is going, you need to accomplish that goal and get up and change your life. No one's going to change your life for you. You have to change it yourself. Yep. So if you're home all day and you're in your bedroom because you don't feel like going anywhere, or you're stuck in that bedroom, no one's going to help you and hold your hand and take you outside. You have to want to do that. But if you prefer to be in the house and you don't want to get out and don't want to do anything because you're unhappy with the life, well, whose life are you unhappy? Are you unhappy because nobody wants to help you? Or are you unhappy because you choose to be in that spot? You need to wanna and have that ambition to change your life. And if you don't have that ambition to change your life, everything you do is going to go backwards to where it used to be. Nobody wants to help you. Well, why nobody wants to help you? Because you don't have that ambition to change yourself. It's a repeat. Everything is a repeat. So then you turn around and you bitch and complain about, nobody wants to help me, this person said this person said that, and they try to make themselves look good, but yet nobody knows the truth. So Anyways, I'd like to keep on going, but I just want to try to stay away from my personal life because, like I said, I've changed a few things this week. Uh, I have positive attitude for this whole entire week. I've done really good this week, and I don't want to end it with a negative thought thinking about
Oh
my.
yeah.
So, uh,
Apparently, those voodoo dolls you've been sticking pins in over Nancy Pelosi's husband work.
yeah, definitely.
I know you've been sticking pins in a doll of Nancy Pelosi and your husband. Yeah, we know.
Jane, I am thick-headed. I am stubborn. There's no doubt in that. I'm an outspoken person. I say what I want to say. And sometimes it does hurt certain people, but yet that certain people that I speak up to say it's because I'm saying the truth. I see a lot.
Oh yeah.
And those are the people that basically don't want to help themselves. They expect the help from everybody, but yet they don't want to help themselves. They're depressed in their life because of their way they're living, but they don't want to seek the help. There's several different depressions. It's just that people don't like to take awareness of stating the fact I am depressed. Number one thing I was told in counseling, a lot of people could say you're depressed. You could keep on denying it. But once you start saying, yes, I have depression, anxiety, you have to have that feeling and that knowing in your mindset that you are depressed. You have to accept that fact. And you can't sit there and just saying, yeah, I'm depressed and I have anxiety. I'm going to just sit here all day or go to work and then come home and sit in the bedroom all day. You have to have a mindset. Okay, how could I get help? Either counseling or change my lifestyle the way I am. How is this going to work? You have to accept the fact that you have an issue. And if you don't accept that fact that you have an issue, you're never going to get any better. Your life is always going to be the same. It's like repeating the same day every day, just like the movie was. You know?
Yeah.
Jesus, I have always been the one to help everyone else, and I enjoy helping when I can. Exactly, Jane. Well, I did the same thing. I was me and Mr. Briggs, we had a competition 2021, New Year's night. We had to see if we could eat a total of 21 hamburgers from McDonald's. That was a New Year's thing that me and Mr. Briggs was doing. So I was sitting there one night, on New Year's night, trying to eat those hamburgers. I couldn't. So I ended up trying to figure out what I was going to do with them. Leftover hamburgers I could not eat. I went down the street. I gave them to homeless people. Ever since that day, I've been trying to do whatever I can to feed and help the homeless and the less fortunate people. I was doing really, really good. But what happened is my depression took over myself. And I felt like I wasn't wanted. It just, in out of relationships, as much as, I wanted to make things work, it just was not working. So that went off to the side. I tried my best to be able to still do whatever I can to feed the homeless and help with the homeless. But the only thing I could do is for myself to get better. And I think this week it actually started on a good track. I don't want to get too much personal into my life with what positive changes I have been making, but I feel good with myself. I feel good with the people I'm surrounding with. So, you know, they say kudos to me. Well, that's the way I feel. I feel happy. I'm enjoying it. And I'm glad for the people that's around me and my new friends that's been around me. Uh, Nothing to hide. They all know who I am. They know who I am. And they accept me for who I am. So I'm happy. Uh, okay, we'll change this one here. It does make you feel better when you help someone who is less fortunate. Yes, it does. Uh, Fortunately, I would like to continue doing it, but with my finances, it's impossible for me to do that. My living status is very impossible to do that. Uh, Eventually, when I get a little better finances and a little better place to live, uh, I will do that. Continue doing it. But right now, I'm at a standstill with that. And to be able to help me out, I have to change my lifestyle. And I have been doing that. So I'm happy with the way it's going, like I said.
Yeah, you just got to find a job that'll let you have balance.
What I'm doing is enough. I'm talking more about uh, a hearty relationship, a steady relationship. I can't keep on going into these relationships that's going in back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's what kind of fucked me up with everything for this where I am now. That's plain and simple. Everybody knows it. There's nothing hiding with that. Everybody that's on my Facebook, they know about that. My family knows that. My friends know that. So, but as far as that part, I'm not getting really involved with it. But that was the main purpose. But like I said, I've been changing a few things past 2 weeks. This week here has been tremendous. I am very happy with my new surrounding friends, my family, and positive attitude with everything so far.
Yeah.
I just caught this one. Lucky's homemade lemonade is secure. I don't know if you guys haven't seen that video, but I make my own lemonade, and I do have a YouTube video on that. Tastes better than Dell's if you're from Rhode Island. So, anyways, it's just about 7 o'clock. I usually go to 8 o'clock, but I don't want to just keep on mumbling about nothing here. Hopefully, next week we could be able to do this again. I'll have maybe a couple more people on the panel. If not, I'll play a couple more videos. But uh, there are major things going to be happening very shortly with myself. Uh, so don't be alarmed if you don't see a Friday night live for like a week or two. I'm not saying this week coming, next Friday or whatever, but just keep in mind there are some things that's going to be changing. I got some things going up on my sleeve, which is positive attitude. Uh, that's it. That's all I have to say. Briggs, you have anything to add there?
No, just keep on your mojo up. That's all you can do.
Well, it's just not myself, it's everybody else that's watching the videos as well. So
You need to come down here and change the motor in my truck. No one wants to change it.
yeah, okay.
I tell you, that no one wants to put the motor in. I bought a wrecked 2018 International with a Cummins motor in it. I'm tired of those DD15, and they say, and I got guys say, put in an RD. I don't want our DD15. They're junk. I don't want our boat anchor.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to end this video with one of my little clips. It's probably about 1.5 minutes long. This is when I used to do feeding the homeless. This is actually last winter. So hopefully I could get back in doing this. We'll see what happens. Tired? Lucky here. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Getting water?
Yep, I got a few care packages. You're looking for some water?
Yeah, please.
All right. Let me see. Just give me 1 second, okay?
Yep.
Here's one with. You need a razor blade or any hygiene products or anything? No. What would you like, sir?
A pair of socks, if I can get them.
Pair of socks. Would you like anything else, sir?
A snack bag, if I could.
Yep. A care package. How's that?
Thank you so much.
Yes, you may. No problem. In return, what I'm doing is that if you guys have an extra time, you could be able to tell a little bit of story. A quick 5-second story. Here's your socks. What would you like, sir? You have to grab something. What do you want, sir?
Water?
Water?
Just like everybody else, I grew up in a troubled house.